This is the Khoodeelaar television channel, broadcasting timed at 11:40 GMT on Wednesday, 24th of July 2024. Due to technical issues, we didn't broadcast this program in the last few days. Today, Wednesday, the 24th of July 2024, we are broadcasting by remarking on the Rupert Murdoch scum newspaper running a front page splash overhyping the most mysterious so-called jihadi, Anjam Chowdhury, who, according to the scum, was convicted at a Crown, that is criminal, court in England yesterday, Tuesday, 23rd of July 2024. The scum heading, I should come to that. It reads, "Now throw away the key." That's the splash heading. Chowdhury faces life. His group in London and Rigby horrors. Preacher of hate, guilty as terror boss. There is no mention of any ordinary Muslim, individual or group demonstrating against the trial of Anjam Chowdhury, which means that the allegation, the assertion racistly made by Muslim hating institutions and agencies that because there would be a backlash from the Muslims, many prosecutions that should happen don't happen. That is an absolute typical racist lie. Preacher guilty of terror link, nailed by United Kingdom, US and Canada operations, ends 30 years of radical rants. Now remember, 30 years in 2024 is just a year short of the 35 years since the gang of racists murdered Stephen Lawrence in April 1993 in Eltham in South London. And for 35 years since the murder, there have been many excuses, many racist denials by the London Metropolitan Police, by the London Metropolitan Police's apologists, and by the scum. And all of them have said words to the effect that the police, in failing to prosecute the criminals responsible for the undeniable and undenied racist murder of Stephen Lawrence, did everything. But that's a lie. Stephen Lawrence's mom, Doreen Lawrence, and Stephen Lawrence's father, Neville Lawrence, have kept up the commentary about the fact that the racists who murdered Stephen Lawrence, their son, when he was a teenager, did that on purpose, undenied purpose and motivation. And it is absolutely the responsibility of the police, the prosecution, decision makers, and the Crown Prosecution Service, successively fronted by the likes of Keir Starmer in the last 35 years, that have been responsible, have been guilty of racist complicity after the fact. So the Pied Piper of hate that this scum is attaching to Anjam Chaudhary has never been used against the gang of murderers that murdered Stephen Lawrence. Not against the gang, not against an individual member of the gang. And the clarity and the hatred aimed at Chaudhary as a Muslim is absolutely absent from the cover up by the scum, the Daily Telegraph, and the rest of Fleet Street on the racist murdering Stephen Lawrence. I'm going to move on to Chaudhary himself. The published and publicly accessible evidence on Chaudhary, who was brought up in the United Kingdom, show that he can be evidentially described as a fraudster, because the culture that he was part of is not a culture that would be consistent with Islamic codes and ethics and morality. So this crime editor, Mike Sullivan in the Scum, first paragraph, hate preacher Anjem Chowdhury was trapped by his own arrogance and ego after resuming his Pied Piper mission to inspire young jihadi killers. The 57-year-old and a follower yesterday became the first people to be prosecuted under the UK laws for their association of extremist group Al Muhajirun It followed an unprecedented joint operation in the UK, Canada, and the United States. Trained lawyer Chowdhury had co-founded ALM in 1996 and later bragged to followers that he was untouchable as he operated its worldwide tentacles. Disciples included the killers of Fusilier Lee Rigby in 2013, 2017, London Bridge atrocity leader Khurram Butt, 2019 Fishmongers Hall attacker Usman Khan, and members of a gang who plotted to blow up Kent's Bluewater shopping center. Armchair Jihadi Chowdhury also encouraged young fighters to go to Syria to build a caliphate. He declined to go himself, saying he was needed at home in Ilford, East London, where he has his wife and kids lived off benefits. Chowdhury was convicted at London's Woolwich Crown Court of 2 counts of directing and encouraging support of a banned organization. Canadian national Khalid Hussein, 29, was found guilty of being a member of a banned group. After the verdicts, police said there are individuals who have conducted terrorist attacks or traveled for terrorist purposes as a result of Chowdhury's impact on them. Prosecutors said Chowdhury took on a caretaker role and directed it for a significant time after spiritual leader Omar Bakri Muhammad was jailed in May 2014. Now, these people, Bakri Muhammad and Anjam Chowdhury et al., have absolutely no connection whatsoever with the ordinary experience, the ordinary thoughts, and ordinary lives of the ordinary people who live in the United Kingdom, in the United States, or in Canada. There is no evidence whatsoever that Chowdhury or Bakri Muhammad et al. Ever had any respect for the struggles that ordinary Muslims who struggle to reach parts of the world like the United Kingdom, like the United States, like Canada, to escape poverty, massacre, have ever been shown any respect by these so-called jihadi preachers, caretakers, etc. Bakri Muhammad and Chowdhury don't recognize the reality of the societies dominated by Muslim named members of governments in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, not to mention the Saudi Arabia and other Muslim majority countries. There is absolutely no evidence in any of the Muslim countries that the actual Islamic ethics and morality or transparency, accountability that are clearly set out in the Holy Quran and in the Hadiths are being followed by any of the Muslim leaders in the Muslim countries. So for Chowdhury and Bakri Muhammad et al., to parade themselves as being revolutionary, jihadi Muslims in non Muslim controlled countries is a fraud. It is satanic, absolutely anti Islamic, disastrous betrayal of the lives of the Muslims, both in these countries as well as in the original Muslim countries. There is no evidence whatsoever that Chaudhry or Bakri Muhammad et al. Are concerned about the struggles that non Muslim migrants are suffering at the hands of the clearly kafir Zionist regimes in the United Kingdom, in France, in Hungary, in Germany, in the USA, in Canada, at all. We shall be continuing on Chaudhry and Bakri Muhammad et al. In due course, and of course, we'll be updating as the story is moved following the conviction yesterday at the Woolwich court. Now, the fact that the item about Bakri Muhammad and Chaudhry is given the lead treatment by the scum shows that even when they otherwise acknowledge that the BBC scandal about the Strictly dancing, which their brainwashed readership would be quite avidly following, is not as important as the hatred that would have the impact against the Muslims, ordinary Muslims, of the reports of the dishonest regimes fronted by Anjam Chaudhry, Bakri Muhammad et al. The BBC's defense of ex-presenter Hugh Edwards' pair eyes would have been the main item, as would be the item about Gary Lineker getting more than £1 million from the BBC. The fact that neither has been given the priority, prominence, shows that the extent of hatred for Muslims is many times greater and deeper and more severe in the media in the United Kingdom than the media would ever acknowledge, or the evidence. Shall be continuing in later editions. Hopefully, the resumption of technical access to the broadcast will continue uninterrupted from now on.